There's 5 people that didn't come home. And this guy, I told him while I was hitting him, I said, I'm gonna kill you, man, because you tried to kill my friends. My family was in there. This whole thing was a lot. My daughter and wife should have never experienced combat in Colorado Springs. And everybody in that building experienced combat that night, not to their own accord, but because they were forced to. It's a lot for any human, man. This kid that was helping me was kicking another human in the head, and I told him to do it.
We are learning more about Richard Fierro, who is the Army vet who actually ran toward the Club Q nightclub shooter in Colorado Springs, which led to the shooter being subdued and also prevented more individuals from being shot and killed by the gunman. Now, Fierro was assisted by one other person who he referred to in that clip you just watched. That individual, a young man, proceeded to kick the shooter in an effort to help subdue him before he could cause more damage and murder more people. Colorado Springs Police Chief Adrian Vasquez and Mayor John Suthers for, of course, Colorado Springs, named 2 patrons they said had subdued the gunman, Fierro, and a second man, Thomas James. Now, at some point, Thomas James, according to Fierro, became tired from hitting the gunman to subdue him. And there was a drag performer who was kind of running by, and Fierro had asked the drag performer to assist. And so she did so, and after that ran away because of course she was terrified, as she should be. Military records confirmed that Fierro served as an Army field artillery officer from 1999 to 2013, deploying 3 times to Iraq and once to Afghanistan. He rose to the rank of major before leaving the service, according to Sergeant Pablo Says, an Army spokesman. Fierro received numerous awards for his service, notably a combat action badge and 2 Bronze Stars. Since then, he has started a brewing company, a beer brewing company with his wife, and also works at Northrop Grumman. Now, Fierro went to Club Q to celebrate a friend's birthday with his family. His daughter also has a best friend who was a drag performer that night. Unfortunately, we also learned from Fierro that while he succeeded in stopping the shooter from murdering more people, he didn't succeed in preventing the shooter from killing his own daughter's boyfriend. So it's difficult to watch and hear just how torn up he is, especially considering the wonderful act that he did and the courage and bravery he showed in subduing this shooter. But I want you to hear more from him and what he experienced that night. Let's watch.
I ran across the room, grabbed the handle, pulled him down, and then started to, well, actually, I think I went for his gun with him. His rifle flew in front of him, and the young man that tried to jump in there with me, we both either pulled him down or whatever, but he ended up at his head and right next to the AR. And then with the AR, I told him, push the AR, get the AR away from him. The kid pushed the AR. I don't know what his name was. And then I proceeded to take his other weapon, the pistol, and then just start hitting him where I could, but the armor's in the way. And I found a crease between his armor and his head, and I just started wailing away with his gun. And then I told the kid in front of me, kick him, keep kicking him.
So that was Thomas James that he's referring to there, who was assisting in subduing the shooter. Cenk.
Okay, so there's amazing details and one more amazing video coming up. So first, an update on the story. It turns out Richard got it wrong. It was not a drag performer that had done the kicking. It was a trans woman who happened to be at the club as well. Excuse me. And so now to his heroism, it's unbelievable, and I love this guy, true American hero. As everybody's understandably running away, he runs straight to the gunman. Okay, first he actually gets down and he brings his friends that were with him. He gets them to go down. Unfortunately, they were shot. Okay, so they did not pass away, but as Anna told you, his daughter's boyfriend passed away. They were all there, and I had speculated yesterday that the person who tackled him was probably in the LGBTQ community. It turns out Richard isn't, although the other 2 that were assisted him were. as far as we know. And so, but they were there because his daughter's best friend was performing. And so, and almost every comment coming out of the club in the area is, this is our community.
Exactly.
This is the LGBTQ community here is part of our community. So you're attacking all of us, right? And so I love that attitude. And so one of the people in the bar was Brianna Renee, and she said about Richard, I saw him there, I danced with them, he saved my life. Thank you for your bravery.
Yeah.
Imagine that, you're dancing next to somebody, next to your gunman comes in, and that guy tackles him and saves your life, right? Authorities say he might have saved dozens of lives because the guy was heavily armed, and he tackled him in the middle of his shooting spree. That is unbelievable. And he's so humble, and he's like, look, I feel bad that we're kicking this guy in the head, right? I'm telling people to kick the guy in the head, and so the trans woman comes by, she does it, etc. But he's like, I'm in a pool of blood, and I hated every part of this, but I had to get him under control so I can go check on my friends because they'd been shot. And then he gets the friends together and he has them hold hands until they come get rescued.
Yeah, he talks about that in this next video, and this is, in my opinion, one of the harder videos to watch because he gets so emotional. And he begins by talking about how he couldn't save his daughter's boyfriend, who, by the way, was 22-year-old Raymond Green Vance. So let's take a quick look at that.
I got to protect my kid. I lost my kid's boyfriend. I tried to have everybody in there. I still feel bad that there's 5 people. There's 5 people that didn't come home. As soon as I got done with that guy and the cop came in, I went across the room and started first aid with my friend who was shot in the chest and the legs and the arms. And I told her, Joanne, stay with me. Look me in the eye, stay with me. And I moved her head so she wouldn't see her arm because he was shot. And Chip was right there. Her husband was reaching for her. So I put her hand in his hand so that they could be together. I didn't know if they were gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine going through that. I can't imagine having the courage that this man had to run toward a shooter as everyone else is running away. He absolutely saved lives. He did something incredibly brave. And what really stood out to me, Cenk, to your point, is not only the fact that he's so incredibly humble after he saved lives, but also how he's torn up about the fact that he was urging others to kick the shooter to help him subdue the shooter. So on one hand, he says, I gotta protect my family, I gotta protect people, which I completely agree with him on that. But he still feels guilt in causing physical pain to the shooter, which I'll tell you something right now. I personally would not have those torn up feelings.
No, I
not even close.
I wouldn't either. And I love that guy who came to shoot up an LGBT bar got kicked in the face by a trans woman in heels. And so I hope he feels that one to the end of his days. By the way, he said at one point, kick him, move the AR, because he's trying to make sure that the guy doesn't get back in control of the AR, because he's got the AR still, it's just pinned against the ground. And so he's desperately trying to make sure the guy doesn't kill anyone else. By the way, I'm gonna give a random shout out here before I get to tell you about awful people. The reaction here has been unbelievable by the right wing. The beer company that he co-owns with his wife is Etravita Beer. Go order some online. Okay, I don't know how you do it, but do it. So I love this guy.